TNT Monster Truck Challenge. You see Jim Miller, the driver of the Barbarian Ford out of Nokomis, Illinois. He is getting a bye run in the first round because the Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson, who he was supposed to race against, they broke a steering line in qualifying. They are out of the competition, so Jim Miller is going to move on easily, Army.
Well, it's a tough break for the Gravedigger fans as we go across the country, Richard. You know the Gravedigger, one of the most popular trucks, but this is professional motorsport racing. You take your shot at what's laying on the table. Barbarian made the call, the Gravedigger did not. Kind of an interesting situation. This kid will be back.
And another guy that's going to be back in a few minutes is John Moore, the driver of No Problem. And I know you spent the afternoon, Army, with John talking about how they're going to keep their engines cooled on this long, long race course.
Louisville, Kentucky is going to present a whole new set of problems for the monster truck drivers. The reason being the length of the track, the problem being heat. John Moore, how are you going to keep heat out of the No Problem Ford tonight?
Well, I believe we're just going to let it get a little warm and hope we get enough time in between rounds to cool it down.
Okay, now how will you cool it down between the rounds of competition?
Keep it on charge and run the electric fans and the water pumps and circulate water through the motor. From the time it takes to get from the pits to line up will be at operating temperature. The distance of the race is going to pull major temperatures in these motors. Just the distance of the race is going to get them real hot.
Oil in this engine is going to be constantly getting hot, but it's also going to be doing something else. It's constantly going to be pushing away from the oil pan. Have you made any adjustments for that?
Well, the system is set up to crush cars, so to pump the pickup tubes in the back of the pan. We run a 12-quart oil pan, so we run a great big oil pan, a lot of oil down there, and I don't believe we're going to have a problem with it going off to the side.
Well, we're going to find out if there's a problem or not as John Moore comes out of the No Problem Ford. That's an '89 Ford Bronco, and he's going to be facing Bennett Clark, Clydesdale, which is an '89 Chevrolet. Army, do you have an edge for either one of these guys?
Yeah, I'm going to look at Clark just by the wheelbase of his truck. We talked earlier, it's a 144-inch long wheelbase. No problem. It's one of the shortest trucks on the circuit. I think the short truck will have an advantage indoors, but outdoors, the long truck is going to be the way to go, I believe. Clark currently in the lead, but you got to remember, No Problem gets the inside of the short course in the second half of the race, and he's coming back on him, Richard.
I noticed coming over that first set of junk cars also, Army, a lot of these guys are getting a lot of bounce as they come back on the asphalt track. Yeah, we got us a race here.
Yeah, they're really tightening up. I can't tell.
Oh, look out! Whoa, I thought we were going to have a crash there.
I couldn't tell who won it from my viewpoint. All I could see was they were both out of shape coming across that finish line.
It was Bennett Clark and Clydesdale nailing John Moore by inches at the pit line. He gets the win. Now, our next racer to come out is Mike Wine. He was our second fastest loser in first round. He gets to come back, but he's on an outdoor track for the first time in his life. And Army talked to Mike Wine about that earlier this afternoon.
Mike Wine started in 1989 in a very impressive manner. His rookie year. The rookie had one thing going for him, though. All the tracks he's been running on up until right now were straight courses. Mike, a whole new different ball game, a half mile of turns, lefts and rights. How do you prepare for that?
Well, we did some little modification to the front steering to help me out, steer a little bit sharper. Before, on a straighter course, it was nice. You just hold on and let it go. Now you have to turn right and left, so we made it a little bit quicker and did little minor things to the suspension to make it a little bit harder for me. That'll help me a lot.
Okay, now that's what you did as a truck. What do you do inside of your head to prepare to drive this truck for the first time, turning left and right?
I had it and drove it around the parking lot for a little while and talked to a lot of the other drivers that did race this course last year. Then they had some tapes. I interviewed their tapes and watched what they did and did wrong and see if I can do a little bit better this year.
All right, that's the sign of a true professional driver, reviewing videotapes of other drivers to help him out, Army.
Yeah, but the other drivers, you know, they all know this is a tricky track. He's a veteran. They're really trying to help his guy. Ford, side by side, Richard Leek.
Might want to mention the other Ford is the Barbarian of Jim Miller out of Illinois, but it looks like thus far a runaway from Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw.
Okay, now he was talking about the adjustments they made on the steering of this truck to make it work left and right. It looks like the adjustments were good. They seemed to work for him. The Barbarian starts to come back just a little bit, Richard.
See the bounce I'm talking about.
Yeah, what they're doing, they're getting a bad bounce. They're landing at the wrong time, and it's throwing the suspension all out of kilter. However, the Outlaw holding on the inside. The Barbarian's got to come to high side on him.
Yep.
I don't know, Richard. They may tighten it up. Keep an eye. Jersey Outlaw. Yeah, Jersey Outlaw's going on.
27-year-old Mike Wine from Pennsauken, New Jersey. gets the win in the Jersey Outlaw. He now moves into the semifinals against Bennett Clark, the driver of Clydesdale. Arnie, I hear you've got Bennett now.
Bennett, you going to the semis? Everything looking good?
Everything seems to be pretty good, except we got a little temperature building up in motor right now. We're about 230 when I shut it off.
Okay, well, your crew's back there cooling it down right now. You got about 10 minutes. Will you be cool enough to go back into the lanes for the next round?
I think we can get it down around 190, 200 degrees. It's going to be hot on it for the next round.
And now we're going to find out who is going to be our other semifinalist. It will either be the Stomper of Starvin Marvin Smith. That, of course, is the 88 Chevrolet, or the Thunder Chicken of Kid Raring. Now, he's coming back as a fast loser, and he is driving an 89 Chevrolet S10.
Richard, you can keep an eye on this. The Stomper, I believe, has got it covered. And the reason being, Kid Raring, we told you earlier, was not able to make the proper adjustments to the transmission. He's running basically a gear. Normally, you and I would run only low gear in a straight shift car. You watch it, he cannot really go upstairs from the engine. Now, the Stomper's on the outside. He's really legging the engine, and Kid Raring basically just driving around with a Thunder Chicken.
And might want to make a point also, this is actually Kid's first race in his Thunder Chicken. He just bought it, and he really hasn't got it set up the way he wants yet.
Yeah, they're still trying to get the combination together, but I tell you, he's really impressing me. He's not quitting. He's staying after him. He's making everybody earn everything they've got to get past him with.
But it looks like an easy win for the Stomper of Starvin Marvin Smith as he heads to the last set of junk cars, and he slows down quite a bit to go up over.
Yeah, I think that he was aware of the Thunder Chicken's position, not going to abuse the truck a whole lot. He's going to be come back in the next round. Richard, we're down almost to the final four.
And I understand you have finally found Mike Wine, the driver of Jersey Outlaw. Army, let's talk to him about his upcoming semifinal matchup with Bennett Clark.
All right, Mike Wine, you're going to be going up against Bennett Clark and Clydesdale. How are you going to handle it?
I'm going to have to go out there and run pretty hard. He's a very good driver. He's an experienced driver.
You know he's going to come after you real hard right at the finish line, so you're not going to be able to quit on this one.
Now, this one, I'll be on it all the way.
Well, another guy that's going to be on it all the way is our fast qualifier, Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina. This is our first opportunity to see Gary actually in a side-by-side race because he was top qualifier. He got a run in that first round, and he's taking on a guy that could knock him off very easily. It is the equalizer, dangerous David Morris out of Tennessee. This guy, David, is currently number 1 in the national point standings. Gary Porter is currently number 3.
Boy, Richard, they left that starting line like a couple of drag cars, side by side. Even though they weigh 13,000 pounds, they were coming out smoking. Equalizer working the inside. Look at that kid out of Tennessee. He's attacking that track on the inside, but Porter will have the short way around in the second half. Can the equalizer hold him off? Porter's going after him. Oh, what a shot. Porter goes to the inside real quick, Richard. No, we've got problems with Porter. To go to the next round, I have no idea what's going to weigh on the clutcher.
Army, he came over that first set of junk cars, and it looked like he took a hard hit when he came down, possibly steering problem, as here you see the equalizer get his win. And David looks back over at Gary Porter and gives him a wave, but we're going to have to check on what happened to Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. When we come back, we'll have that report, plus we'll have our semifinal round of action on ES.